Not since the last Blockbuster Video went out of business in Anchorage has the focus on what's going on in Alaska been so intense. Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin holding a big bilateral summit this afternoon, trying to bring about some type of stability in the Middle East. We're talking about a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, while the president tries to get a peace deal in Washington, D.C. Democrats don't really want to play ball. We just heard Alec Baldwin lashing out at the president for sending in the National Guard. Now, in Alec Baldwin's defense, Washington, D.C. has a much lower murder rate than Alec Baldwin's movie sets.
That's true. That is true.
888-788-9910, the phone number if you want to be a part of today's historic broadcast. Jason Chaffetz is going to be here, former Utah Congressman. Shannon Bream, the host of Fox News Sunday, a woman far too classy to be a part of this program, stopping by as well. Comedian Danny Polishuk is going to be here to kind of yuck it up. And we will also hear from Big Daddy. If you're not familiar with Big Daddy's work, if you're an NFL insider, you, Tom Brady, and everybody, including Roger Goodell, know Big Daddy. The man is an icon. He's going to be joining us at the tail end of this hour to talk about Monday's big Celebrity Golf Invitational, which is, of course, for a phenomenal cause. But like I said, 888-788-9910 if you want to be a part of the show. We have one rule only. We say it every day. You could be a Republican. You can be a Democrat. Just don't be a bang. So here is the Trump man giving you what can only be called the tale of the tape, okay? On a day in which we have gotten the two parties to the table, something that didn't seem like it could ever happen, knowing that Donald Trump kicked Vladimir Zelensky out of the White House just a few months back.
Get him out of here. Get him out.
If you remember that, we thought that rare earth minerals deal was going to usher in the peace process by giving Ukraine a security guarantee. But it would appear some of the powers that be in Europe did not want Zelensky working with Trump to bring peace. I know that sounds psychotic, but you understand we're living in a world where a lot of people root harder against Trump than they do for their own country. Meaning they root harder against Trump than they do for their own country. Okay, Europe obviously buying a ton of fuel off Vladimir Putin. This war has made people a ton of money. I'm not saying everybody involved is okay with millions and millions of deaths. But the point is, this is a very complex negotiation, so much so that if Donald Trump can land the plane, here is Hillary Clinton saying that if Trump gets a peace deal, she would back him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
What the hell did you just say?
I'm not even making that up. I'm going to play you a clip just to underscore the gravity of what today is. Okay, here is Hillary Clinton saying that if Trump gets this done, he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Clip 4.
If he could bring about the end to this terrible war where Putin is the aggressor, invading a neighbor country, trying to change the borders, if he could end it without putting Ukraine in a position where it had to concede its territory to the aggressor, had to validate Putin's vision of greater Russia, but instead could really stand up to Putin to make it clear there must be a ceasefire, there will be no exchange of territory, and that over a period of time, Putin should be actually withdrawing from the territory he seized in order to demonstrate good faith efforts, let us say, not to threaten European security. If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Wow! Spoken like a woman who doesn't want to get locked up because of all the declassified information in the Mueller probe.
Tell them like it is.
All those Tulsi Gabbard documents have suddenly turned a lot of swamp people into Trump supporters. Now, to be clear, she caveated that with a lot of things that aren't actually going to happen. Could he negotiate a peace deal? Yes. Maybe some sort of short-term ceasefire? Yeah. Okay, but Trump himself trying to manage expectations. He got out of bed this morning and he tweeted, high stakes. But understand, he was managing those very high expectations when he spoke to our Brian Kilmeade yesterday. Here it is, clip 1.
Is there any scenario where Donald Trump will look at this meeting in Alaska and say, this was not worth it, I failed?
Yeah,
25%. And you would say
25%.
that if he just says, "Hey, I'm going to stay with my."
All the time and energy and went over there, and we didn't come out with in a short period of time. Not from this meeting. This meeting sets up the second meeting. The second meeting is going to be very, very important because that's going to be a meeting where they make a deal. And I don't want to use the word divvy things up, but, to a certain extent, it's not a bad term, okay?
So there you go. And he's saying 25%. It's not really this meeting so much as it sets up the next meeting. Now, I do believe that is him managing expectations because, to be clear, he has a plan for what would come next if, in fact, the meeting goes well. And here he is outlining that plan, clip 2.
Because I'm going to let them negotiate their deal. I'm not going to negotiate the deal. I'm going to let them negotiate their deal. So we're going to be calling President Zelensky if it's a good meeting. If it's a bad meeting, I'm not calling anybody. I'm going home. I'll call you. I'll do Fox and Friends some morning, and we'll have a lot of fun. But if it's a good meeting, I'm going to call President Zelensky and the European leaders.
Is it crazy to think, though? Okay, he's going to call Zelensky, the European leaders, but he's not going to call Jimmy Fallon.
That's not right.
Stop it. Here's a little more of him and Kilmeade talking about whether or not they'll do a bilateral presser. Clip 3.
I'm going to have a press conference. I don't know if it's going to be a joint. We haven't even discussed it. I think it might be nice to have a joint and then separates. So something like that will happen. Or if the meeting doesn't end well, I'll just have a press conference and head out. I'll head back to Washington.
So he's very much managing expectations. But something I told you yesterday that you're not hearing enough of today. These guys don't get together given the security parameter needed, given the human infrastructure it takes to make a bilateral meeting like this happen between two world superpowers, the magnitude of Trump and Putin. They're not showing up today if there isn't some sort of a basic framework of a deal, okay? Straight up. Doesn't mean they're going to make one. And I'm sure there can be some last minute, carve-outs and stuff they don't agree to. Understand, Vladimir Putin knows what he wants. He absolutely, positively knows what he wants. Yes, he'd like to avoid economic sanctions with Trump, but at the same time, okay, he also wants to be in a position where Russia, the fact that it generates most of its revenue from selling fuel to our European allies, the fact that it has annexed parts of Ukraine, he doesn't want to give that all up. So there's going to have to be some type of a negotiation, whether you're talking about a land swap, a nuclear deal, some guarantee against sanctions reliefs. The point is he's willing to blow the whole thing up. Trump wants a Nobel Prize. Trump wants world peace more than he wants a Nobel Prize. He is a guy with a basic appreciation for humanity, which is why he does as many live events as he does and meets as many people as he does. I promise you, you cannot fake the sincere interest he has in people if you have to do as many gigs as he does. Okay, Donald Trump did probably more rallies in the last election than any president in the history of elections. Okay, you know what he did when he ran in 2020? The same thing. You know what he did in 2016? The same thing. This is a guy that's bordering on 80 that did 5 rallies the last day of the campaign. Joe Biden didn't do 5 rallies the whole campaign. Okay, neither did Kamala Harris. So you understand, Trump likes people. He likes the idea as a businessman of being the best business this country has ever had, meaning securing the border, which reduces our bottom line, makes the citizens safer, protects American jobs, raises the value of domestic labor. He likes the idea of recalibrating trade deals because, again, that's incentivizing manufacturing back into the country, just as tariffs have, but loves more above any of it being a president for peace. Now, Putin knows that. So that's Trump showing his hand a little bit. But at the same time, Trump knows what Putin knows. Do you follow me? So this is far from a guarantee today, far. But the stakes could not be higher because if they make a legitimate peace deal where you get a good faith offering from Putin, then the deaths that we've been witnessing for the better part of the last 3 years would conceivably end. Okay, yes, these are deaths that started because of Joe Biden.
Biden sucks.
Okay, the weakness we demonstrated on the world stage is what got us into this. If you followed the story of the Afghan troop withdrawal, Joe Biden took the armed troops out of Afghanistan ahead of the civilians.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
And everybody in the world said so. But they got on TV day in and day out. They're like, don't worry, the Afghan army's not going to collapse. Everything's going to be fine. This isn't going to be one of those situations like Hanoi where you're watching Americans get lifted off the roofs of embassies in choppers. It was actually worse than that. It ended with Americans and other citizens clinging to the wheels of cargo jets as they left a collapsing country that had returned to Taliban rule. It was the biggest foreign policy embarrassment of the last 100 years, and Joe Biden got on TV with a straight face and called it the most successful American airlift in the history of our country.
That was embarrassing.
Not only was it embarrassing, but it was such a tell to our enemies around the world because he showed his hand. They were like, oh, I get it. This guy's a politician. He just wants to win the news cycle. He can get on TV with a straight face and call a humiliation, a triumph. And that's why Biden also didn't fire any generals. Traditionally, when a president has a foreign policy mess, you fire everybody who advised him to make that move, if only because it creates some separation between the president and the poor judgment. And it allows him to go, yeah, this is unacceptable, and we're going to do better. And one of the ways we're going to do better is by not listening to these people ever again. But because they were so desperate to sell that as a success, and it was so transparently not the case, Biden, in August of 2021, went into that month above water in the polls. He was 5 points above water. He came out of the month 12 points below. And that weakness he showed on the world stage. It's not just the weakness of letting a country collapse and 10,000 of our allies get stranded. The real weakness is in telegraphing your weak spot, which is politics. The Democrats just wanted to win the news cycle. They didn't care about the people. They didn't care about the fact that we had invested 20 years in Afghanistan. Afghanistan was a war we went into post 9/11 to stop that country from becoming a breeding ground for terror groups. And we left 20 years later, trillions of dollars spent with a terror group in charge of the country and sitting on top of $85 billion worth of our weapons. I mean, dude, and he got on TV and was like, everything's great.
We really are being laughed at and scoffed at throughout the world. They're not respecting our country the way they used to.
But that weakness and that political calculus is what emboldened Putin to invade Ukraine. It's what emboldened China to encircle Taiwan. It's what allowed Iran to finance the proxy attacks of October 7th, with have us at the precipice of World War III in the Middle East just the same. Another mess Trump is trying to clean up. Okay, this guy inherited a really crowded dance card. But he's a guy that realizes we only got into this situation because of American weakness. We created a vacuum on the world stage. That being said, he goes into this bilateral today saying, hey, if we make a deal, we make a deal. If we don't make a deal, I'll go home. Maybe we'll have some sanctions. Maybe we'll have a war. You don't know. Does he want peace? Yeah. But he realizes the only way to get it is to send in the punt team on American weakness and start showing the world some good old-fashioned American strength.
And I'm out here in the real world, and I know what's right or wrong or bullshit.
Oh, hot damn, it is Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon doing a thing on 200 radio stations across the country. Of course, you'll see me hosting Fox News Saturday night. Tomorrow night, I bring up the Fox brand because we have no closer charitable ally than the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And this Monday, the Big Daddy Celebrity Golf Classic and Gala is hosted by my man, Rich Big Daddy Salgado, and Anzhelika Steenolsen, who join me in studio right now, and the crowd goes wild. Hello. Good to see you both. This is a big deal.
Welcome.
This is a big deal. And the idea that you guys decided to throw a golf tournament to honor my 19th wedding anniversary is a big deal to Jenny. If she was here, she would tell you as much. But congrats for that.
But of course.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, if we have to, we'll bring an extra cake in. Happy anniversary for Jenny.
I appreciate the generosity, but as a TV host, I'm not allowed to eat cake anymore. They're like, listen, Fats, only if it's an Ozempic. I'm kidding. But, of course, this is the annual tournament. A lot of your good friends are going to be there. Yep. A lot of your good friends happen to be pretty noteworthy NFL football players. The first time I met you, everybody's like, oh, everybody knows Big Daddy. But, you know, that's like a phrase that people throw around a lot. Oh yeah, my cousin Bobby. Everybody knows Bobby, and that might mean everybody in the landscaping company, whatever. When I say America, that everybody knows Big Daddy, I mean I could throw any name out there in the NFL. They know who you are. The commissioner, Tom Brady Sr.
Tom Brady Sr. is right. He says to me all the time, just remember one thing, Big Daddy, I'm the real Tom Brady.
He can't let it go. No, because you probably have been around men, Anzhelika, where you've seen this before. It doesn't matter how successful the son is. There's still that father-son, like, I could take him thing.
Yeah.
So just having met Tom Brady Sr., does he think if the ball bounced differently, he has 6 Super Bowl rings?
I don't know, but you know what? He's a success in his own
for sure.
way because he was very big in the financial world.
Yep.
You know, so more than football, more than numbers, and just a great family man. Him and his family are unbelievable.
Yeah, really great stuff. So let me ask you this. Obviously, we've partnered with Tunnel of Towers. This is for a phenomenal cause. It's something that, and this is what I really, truly love about this event, everyone showing up has a real investment in this. Yep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it matters. You get to play a little golf. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there might be a bar.
Oh, there's definitely a bar.
There's definitely no one will go hydrated. I mean,
as long as
no one will dehydrate.
As long as you buy the tickets, we'll make everything available for you.
That is so funny. You know when I first heard about this tournament too? From Michael Strahan.
That's right.
I was interviewing him at the International Auto Show because he was getting like a custom Porsche delivered.
Yeah, he's a big car guy.
Yeah, he likes his Porsches. Yeah. And I had asked him if he thought his Porsche could take my old yellow cab. And he said yes, actually. I don't know if he knows. I mean, and that car was willing to drive on sidewalks, through ponds, you know.
That's a great story. I'm going to remind him.
Yeah, he probably would win in a straightaway. But you know what I mean? But if a no-holds-barred race, I'm actually betting the taxi on that one, just so we're on the same page. But they've all been incredibly helpful. I know it's Arizona, Delta. Okay, Big Blue Travel, right? The Giants?
The Giants, yep.
That's incredible to me. And I love that this is going on. And we see Frank Siller a lot here at Fox. Mm-hmm. I run into his brother George from time to time.
Yep.
I wound up they did a Tunnel to Towers event. It was at Liberty State Park, and Leonard Skinner played. And I was there to like take pictures and shake hands, but by the end of that, I was held up because meaning they were holding me up because it was a great party. Those Skinner guys can throw it down.
Yeah, those guys, I'm sure they got a lot of years of experience.
Well, I can tell you right now, I got Rich Big Daddy Salgado in studio. Anzhelika Steenolsen is here as well.
The way you pronounce my name.
Oh, I got you, boo. Don't forget, I'm a former cab driver.
Coming back here again.
So
if you'll have us.
I only know ethnic names as a former cab driver. Okay.
There you go.
But if you want to make a donation, if you can't make it out here to Strong Island, bigdaddygolf.t2t.org/donate. Look at that. And you can make a donation if you can't come out to the bar and hang out with Jimmy and maybe Jenny Fela and a host of NFL celebrities. Have you figured out a semblance of who's going yet, or are you still lining up schedules?
No, we've got Anzhelika. Go ahead and you could let them know.
Well, we've got Michael Strahan.
Stop it. Stray's in the house.
He always supports us.
Justin Tuck's coming?
Eric Coleman.
Wow.
Kevin Carter.
Marvin
That's
Washington.
incredible.
Tony Richardson.
Stop it.
Jillian Cardarelli, our rock star, our country rock star.
Yeah, of course. That's a big deal.
Yeah, we got
I love that.
A few notables,
I love
including yourself.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell Jenny, in lieu of a wedding anniversary, we're going golfing. She'd do it. My wife's she grew up.
She's a gamer.
We have a lot of women playing this year, by the way.
I don't doubt it. Fellas aren't good golfers. Like, we play miniature golf for money. Like, I grew up in a miniature golf family. My uncle, I have an uncle, the late great Uncle Sonny, is an interesting story. When he went to the Marines, he was a good enough golfer that he was spared combat, shipped to LA to teach the officers how to golf.
Really?
And is like, scratch golfer. He was really good. He wound up doing 43 years at Sands Point as a cop, which is Sands Point. You're just making change at a lemonade stand.
One of the guys who was playing on Monday is the Sands Point cop.
Yeah, I don't doubt. It's a great gig.
Yeah.
You probably know my uncle. That's funny. He was there he did 43 years, and he could golf. So there's a half of my family that were like very serious golfers. The other half played putt-putt, but we'd always play for money. Like, if you need me to hit the ball through a clown's mouth, I can take anybody in the NFL. I might have a problem.
We'll set that up.
Everybody, Kilmeade, you were just on Brian Kilmeade's show earlier.
Yeah.
He's such good friends with President Trump. Trump will take you golfing. I got to get Trump to go to putt-putt. I don't know if I can get him to go to the Bethpage pitching putt.
Yeah, because he's always over at Bedminster out there. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a. They don't. I don't know if I've played that. I've played that a few times. I don't know if they have a putt-putt out there. But,
That is amazing.
Would not know.
Oh, I love this so much. Well, the one thing I would say, especially when it comes to T2T, because I've been to a lot of these events, is there's nothing more powerful you people listening around the country can contribute to than helping out a veteran who lost a life, and maybe it's their surviving family, or maybe they're trying to put together a house for somebody who lost a limb and is trying to, and the actual gift you're giving these people, it is a forever gift. Like, you're giving them money. You go to bigdaddygolf.t2t.org and you donate money, but you don't understand that your money goes on for years and years and years. It's a really cool thing. What motivated you to get involved with Tunnel of Towers?
The funniest thing was that I was introduced to them by Brian Parker, whose wife is Jillian Cardarelli, and she's a big-time country singer, and she plays golf on all those circuits and whatnot. And he said to me, he goes, come help me, join me in this thing. And then when I met Frank, just to hear the story and, you're staring at a hero.
Yeah.
You're basically staring at a hero who's doing something for another hero, his brother, who tragically passed away.
Yep.
And when you get to hear all that, it just hits home. And you know what? It's New York.
Yeah.
I'm a New Yorker. That's New York. And for Anzhelika, she lost a loved one in the towers, and so that kind of hit with her as
near
well.
and dear to my heart for many reasons. The fact that they provide smart homes, build smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans or first responders to help them re-engage and gain their independence is everything.
Yep.
To date, 1,500 homes mortgage-free were delivered.
That's
It's
amazing.
incredible.
No, that's amazing. I've seen some of these at the Patriot Awards. I saw one here at Fox, and it really is the most powerful thing in the world, because these veterans that give their life for this country, they die worrying about their family.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can ultimately go out and protect their family, at a time when they no longer can, it's the coolest thing you can do. It's bigdaddygolf.t2t.org to make that donation. I mean, if you're out on Strong Island Monday, you can buy a ticket. Come hang out.
Few tickets are still available.
Oheka Castle for the gala. Is that true?
Yes.
Dude, last time I showed up to Oheka Castle, they were like, sorry, we're not hiring. I was like, no, I'm here for an event. I host a TV show. I'm not kidding. They were like, yeah, real. Yeah, hey, Bobby, this guy hosts a TV show over here. They didn't believe me. But I love that so much. When Monday comes, okay, you hit the links, Anzhelika, is that true?
I'm just getting into a cart and I'm just moving around.
You're there for morale. You're just, okay, I like
Big's going to be next to me. We're just going to be checking out the scenes and just really
You're just making
everybody.
the scene. You're not out there on the green. That's why I want to know.
We're still working.
But I'm aware. I just know that when this many pro athletes show up, there are going to be some side bets placed, and I want to know how to make money. That's all.
I hear you. Well, you got to get in the mix there,
when the cameras are off. When the cameras are off.
Well, that or right when they do the group photo, I'm sure. Hey,
you know what we got to do? We should do this. If I have to be on the air Monday, I should just see if we can do a remote broadcast from the golf tournament, Josh. What are we talking about
Josh,
here?
come on.
That's what we got to do here.
Let's do
That's what we do.
Let's do it.
And then you know what? Then we can get some of the guys to come over to you.
Yeah, of course. That'd be great. The only thing you got to guarantee, you don't even have to guarantee me guests. You just have to keep my producer, Mikey, away from the bar. If you can do that, if you're one of those.
Well, let me tell you this, Mikey. You know what? There's going to be plenty of alcohol. And I'll tell you one thing.
You just said keep him away from
the bar. You got to keep him away.
I know. But I'm just saying, all right, let me tease him. Ready?
I handle the business part. Let him bring in celebrities.
Ready? Let me tease them. There's a steak and lobster roll station at one of the holes.
Mikey, what's even happening here? And that's good because you can feed them.
We've got a lot of food at various holes. A lot of interesting things.
A lot of food, we even got, what do you call it?
And a few surprises.
This is hot
our
stuff.
Italian ice stand.
Come on, Big Daddy. This is crazy.
You're going to be smelling it by the time you pull up.
This is a bad situation because I was like, well, it's my wedding anniversary. Maybe I'll bring Jenny. Now we're at the point where I'm going to go without her. Like, this isn't good.
No, bring Jenny. Bring Jenny.
Jenny, I had nothing to do with it.
Jenny's coming.
The website, bigdaddygolf.t2t.org. Rich, Big Daddy, Salgado, Anzhelika, Steenolsen. You guys crushed this. Looking forward to Monday. Thanks for giving me a few minutes
Thank
today.
you
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you.
You're
No,
amazing.
thank you.
This is so much fun. I don't want to leave.
Stop it. You have to. That's funny. We have like a congressman coming in. It's like a whole to-do. You know what the truth is about this show? I could probably leave and you could stay. They don't care about. I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of radio. I get no respect. You know, that whole thing. But we're kidding. We're back after this. S is getting real. S being an abbreviation for an expletive we can't utter on this many FCC licensed stations.
I signed a document.
But it is Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon. Jason Chaffetz is in studio at the tippy top of the hour, which can only mean one thing. Donald Trump landing in Alaska. And as you were saying during the commercial break, pretty wild optics, huh?
Trump is masterful that way, you know. So it says Alaska 2025. You got 4 B-1 bombers. I think that's what those are. Mm-hmm. Air Force One going to pull up so the president can walk down the red carpet.
Surrounded by B-1 bombers.
Can I just say this? That is badass. Can I say that on air?
Yeah, you can say badass.
Yeah, that's badass right there.
How about it? Jason Chaffetz giving it the seal of approval at Joint Base Elmendorf, which is out in Anchorage, Alaska.
I've been there.
Have you, though?
Yeah.
Get out of here. We're watching. What are we doing out there?
No. You know, when you take a military plane and you're going from D.C. over into Asia, that's where you stop.
Oh, that's funny. So you've had like a connecting flight.
I don't know that it was funny, but it was.
No, it's neat.
Yeah. I mean, it was Elmendorf, and that's where I went. They had an AWAC plane. You know those ones with the big circular.
Yeah, on the top.
And I said, hey, we got like a couple hours here. Can I go on that?
Yeah.
They had to make a few calls. And, yeah, you can go on it.
Really?
So I walked over. They drove me over. I walked on, and I was like, this is pretty cool. It's like off a movie set, you know?
Yeah.
But the scary part for me, and this is, I'm going to get the year wrong, but it was like 2013, 2014. They were really excited because they had just got Windows 95.
Oh.
And it blew my bubble like, wait a sec, this is supposed to be the leading edge.
Sophisticated. Wait. There's a hamster running on a wheel, powering the whole thing.
They just got Windows 95, which Microsoft didn't even service anymore.
Wow.
But it did look like a pretty cool plane, but not as bad as this setup that Donald Trump's doing right now.
Yeah, Donald Trump getting ready to land in Alaska, meet Vladimir Putin. Nobody quite knows what to expect, but they'll both be flying into a spectacle, to say the least. Jason Chaffetz is here to kind of break it down and sort it out with me for a little bit. One thing I will say about this, obviously, is the Trump man is coming into this with what I think is a goal, which is what we've lacked in Ukraine for a while.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people were mad because they were like, this just seems like a forever war. What is the off-ramp? And the last administration never really defined that. I think this alone, the fact that we have a target here is progress. But in your experience, does somebody like Putin make it out to Alaska if they haven't at least outlined a framework of what might be agreeable?
No, I think you're right. I want to address the first part.
Yeah.
This is where I really went south on what we were doing on Afghanistan. Love the men and women putting their lives. We lost a lot of people. A lot of people got maimed. But I'd go to these meetings in Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, and I would say to our U.S. generals, colonels, I said, can you define success for me? Like, what's victory?
Yeah.
And they could never, and you would think they would all be able to repeat it.
Yeah.
Right? Donald Trump is masterful, and I think that he is a master at negotiating, but he wants to stop the fighting and stop the killing.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Stop the fighting, but I don't think the two presidents fly across the globe without some sort of framework or understanding or expectation.
Just knowing
Putin doesn't need another picture with Donald Trump.
He's already got a selfie.
Yeah.
It's his screensaver.
And Trump doesn't get over there. Doesn't get on Air Force One. Now, the president said, hey, this could be 2 minutes. I just think that's Donald Trump negotiating.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if those two guys didn't sit together for 6 hours.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Because I think they're going to talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot's going down, right?
I think they're going to try. I think President Trump is trying to isolate China. I think he's going to talk about Iran. I think he's going to talk about Israel and what's going on there, because there are actually a lot of Jewish people in Russia. They're obviously going to talk about Ukraine, but they're going to talk about the economics of it all.
Well, give me this. We're talking to Jason Chaffetz. President Trump's going to be landing in Anchorage, Alaska any minute now. Joint Base Elmendorf, the scene. when you're sitting down to talk with a guy like Putin, right? And you know Trump does have this agenda of boxing out Xi and China and everything in between. There's no way you can deal with a guy like Putin in confidence, meaning it's not like you can say anything to him that's going to be like, well, this stays between us, all right, bro?
Yeah.
So that has to really complicate things because anything you're telling him, you are telling everybody else.
Well, it's sort of like Barack Obama when he kind of whispered,
do me a favor.
hey, I'll have a lot more flexibility after my next election. You remember that whole thing?
Course.
And he thought he was doing it so nobody could hear it. I mean,
Yeah.
that was just so bad. No, this is where Donald Trump is at his finest because he's not going to get nervous. He's been in this game before. The bigger the show, it's like Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah,
You'd say the bigger the game, the better I play. I think Donald Trump is exactly that way.
It's fascinating because people who are around him believe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's one thing for people in a particular presidential party to be like, this guy's got it, and you have to do that every time they nominate. There were people who said, John Kerry's got it, with a straight face. No, this guy, you don't understand. This guy's got it. Okay, that's happened before. But you get the sense that the people that are around Trump, especially Trump 2.0, really, truly do believe, and it's hard not to.
He's proven it.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy has brokered more peace deals in the last, 3-4 months than pretty much anybody, period. And so, yeah, he does. Look, the United States of America, it is the world superpower, both economically and militarily. So you can't really screw over that. And Donald Trump has recognized that that America first, peace through strength, bodes well. And, we've been very hesitant to use our military might. We're not trying to get anything out of this other than maybe some rare earth minerals, maybe some wheat.
Yep.
But they want to see I think he genuinely wants to stop the fighting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what differentiates him from the last administration. They couldn't outline what would constitute success. They never articulated that. And so many people on the right who were just like, hey, so what is the deal? We're beaten back with like, what are you on Putin's side? And we're like, no, it's possible to not be on Putin's side, but to not want this to go on for 20 years.
The problem was Barack Obama didn't come with any credibility. And when he drew the red line in Syria and didn't enforce it, then he lost all sorts of credibility. Remember, it was during those years, Obama-Biden, where they came in, the Russians came in and took Crimea. Mm-hmm. And, then this war happens expanded under Biden. They didn't do anything. And also look back at the country of Georgia.
Yeah.
The Russians went into Georgia, pretty short, it was like an 8-day war, took 25% of the country and said, okay, we're done.
Yeah, we're going to.
And we'll cede it all back to you, which they never did.
Yeah, of course.
And I actually went to Georgia and saw this with UN peacekeepers, the whole bit. And it's like, it wasn't even worth the piece of paper that they wrote it down on because they literally signed Medvedev, if I pronounce it right, hey, this is how we're going to do this and we'll give Georgia back its land. Never did it. They're fortifying.
Well, let me ask you this question then, knowing that to be the case. Is the difference with Trump being involved the fact that Putin might actually respect the parameters?
Yeah.
That's what we think?
I think not only does he respect it, I think he also understands that he will enforce it.
Yeah.
But they can also have a great trading relationship and a great relationship because Donald Trump has signaled through the years, hey, we got to have a good working relationship. There's no reason why we can't get along as
we don't
countries.
benefit from that. Yeah.
The other side thing that, you're talking about three-dimensional chess, there has been some discussion about nuclear arms proliferation and maybe having some treaty to bring down the number of nuclear weapons on each side. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a key part of this provision.
That'd be a big development. We're talking to Jason Chaffetz about the Trump sit-down with Vladimir Putin. One other thing that was kind of with me when they announced that they were going to go do this too, is that it is here. What is the significance of it being here, or is there not any? Is it just geographically convenient?
Well, you can't do Greenland anymore, right? Traditionally,
maybe that's what they shake hands on. We'll split Greenland up.
Traditionally we've done things like Iceland and but who are those sort of neutral countries out there? Finland? No, they're part of NATO. And so, inviting, having it happen in Alaska, which is a fairly short flight. Most people don't realize if Russia were to attack the United States physically, most of those bombers and bombs and everything, they're coming up and over the top.
Yeah.
We think about it as east-west.
Yeah.
but it's a globe.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's sort of breaking news on this program, Jimmy, but
good for you.
That's a much shorter flight.
Do you remember that old line, the guy from the Flat Earth Coalition? It's like the Flat Earth Coalition has members all across the globe. They're like, dude, no, you blew the whole thing up. You blew the whole thing up. You had members, you had NBA players on board, and you blew the whole thing up. Way to go. It's nuts, man. Well, I laugh at this. I marvel at this. I don't think the average person understands just how high the stakes are. The physical infrastructure it takes to put these two men anywhere.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Right? And it's hard to even explain to people. I mean, I don't know that I truly comprehend it myself, but I think this can only happen at this level because of the enormous undertaking that it is. Back to our earlier point, because they know where they want to go. So here's the question. Is Trump coming into this? Is it kind of like the Abraham Accords, where you're basically trying to financially incentivize peace because it's better for Putin's bottom line to not be in war at all fronts?
Yeah, because Russia, more than half of their economy is dependent on the price of oil.
Mm-hmm.
So if you continue to drive down the price of oil, they pretty much starve themselves. That's in large part how the United States won the Cold War. Is we decided, hey, we're finally going to get serious about energy. At the same time, we had this strategic defense initiative and other things, and Putin couldn't keep up. That was in part what broke up the Soviet Union. And so, yeah, the same is true today. Russians are in trouble. Their demographics aren't keen to growth and prosperity. They're not driving any technology forward, but they are, they're driven by the price of oil.
Yeah.
And think about it. If you're Putin, would you much rather sell to, or, how are you going to participate particularly with Trump saying, hey, we're going to drill, baby, drill in Alaska and everywhere else. So,
well, then that's what's interesting, because you would think the leverage really does belong with Trump here, because, Putin wants everything you just articulated. Trump obviously wants peace just the same. But there's more hanging in the balance for Putin if it doesn't work in the short term, I would think.
Yeah, there is a very big risk for Russia. They continue to bleed. They're losing lots of people. They haven't been able to move the front forward. I mean, remember when this first kicked off, everybody thought that the Russians would just roll into Kyiv in
make it away across
72 hours.
Yeah,
it's like, how fast can that tank drive, But the Ukrainians have been fighters, but millions of people have fled their country, gone into places like Poland and others. There's a lot of refugees out there.
Now, give me this. The scuttlebutt is that Putin is about 5'1", 5'2", short guy. Do you think Trump was remiss in not bringing me to the negotiations, given that I deal with a 5'1" tyrant named Greg Gutfeld all the time?
Yeah, I think there is
in the elevator.
I saw him in the elevator today too.
Probably didn't say hi.
No, I had to say hi first.
Yeah, definitely. But the point is, I look at this, and I've really been doing it like a prize fight, like Tale of the Tape style. Rocky had to fight Drago in Moscow on Christmas Day in Rocky IV.
Dun, dun, dun.
And most of my communication comes through sports metaphors. So today has lined up so well for me, except they're not, that we know of, going to box, unless this turns into a Zelensky thing, which would be crazy.
That would be good.
That was still my favorite bilateral engagement I think I'll ever witness in my lifetime. Because it's usually, if it's that bad behind closed doors, they just don't get together in public.
Yes.
But looking back now, don't you think they wanted to light up Zelensky? They were like, people should see how this guy's acting?
Well, I think they did want to expose that.
Yeah.
And it took, he went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. That's a big question. Where is Zelensky today? Because you would think he would be in the room at some point, but maybe not. Is he sitting off in a closet just waiting for...
This is Trump. Knowing Trump, and I've seen some of those Celebrity Apprentice finales, there could be special guests. Yes. Just somebody else flies in and somebody else. Trump just did the nominees for the Kennedy Center this week. The guy likes a show. Imagine that. If Reagan was presenting, here's who's nominated for the Oscars this year.
Maybe that's what Tom Cruise is actually going to make his show.
He's going to land the Maverick plane from Top Gun 2. No, it's a showman. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
So
there it is. Now it looks like the plane's getting ready to land.
Oh, Chaffetz. We're hearing things. It says soon. That is the Chiron.
On the bottom
CNN
right
is
there.
showing it. Knowing them, that's stock footage. It's not even the real landing. The Trump plane, Air Force One as you know it, en route to Anchorage, Alaska. We're going to cover the landing live after this.